What up, fools?
What up, fools?
I'm Dan.
Marcus.
Welcome to Foolosophy.
Yeah. We I would say the topic today would be hiatus. Just catching up.
Oh, yeah.
Catching up from a hiatus. We missed a lot.
I thought you said hyenas.
Oh yeah, hyenas too. They got those giant
They'll devour you in a pack.
Yeah.
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 Hiatus. It's been a while.
It's been a minute. You a lot has happened.
Yeah. I injured my back with a Costco rotisserie chicken. So that's been my world.
How did that occur?
What have you been up to?
Yeah, well, we gotta unfurl that.
Okay, so you go to Costco ever?
Yeah.
Rotisserie chicken at Costco is famous. You know, it's like $4.99 and they give these birds like steroids and milkshakes at the same time because they're both fat and jacked. They're like, it's like a rotisserie chicken, but it's like they stuffed 4 rotisserie birds into one. It's just huge. And I got one of those and I was putting it into my car and I bent over weird or something. And my whole back just seized up. And I just sat in my car. And I spilled rotisserie chicken juice all over the passenger seat.
That's the worst.
I was just sitting there in pain. And then I still had to bring my cart back to the cart return because I watched the Cart Narc, and I'm a big fan of the Cart Narc, and I can't not return a cart.
What is okay? So, finish this story. We'll get to the Cart Narc because I've never heard of the Cart Narc.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah.
So you were out of commission for a minute, right?
Dude, yeah.
Yeah, because I remember we were gonna reconvene, and then you were like, I can't because my back.
I couldn't walk or like sit or like even like everything was painful. Walking and sitting especially, but
holy shit.
yeah, it was rough for a while. But
that's when you turn a corner age wise, when a rotisserie chicken took you out.
Yeah, just bending over different could make you like put you down for 2 weeks. I was struggling. Yeah, it was rough.
Shit, that's.
I called my doctor and I told him, and he was like, "I'm gonna give you anti-inflammatory medicine and muscle relaxers."
Ooh.
And I was like, "Sweet, muscle relaxers." And he was like, "Have you taken muscle relaxers before?" And I said, "Yeah, like a long time ago." And he said, "Do you have a preference?" And I was like, "Man, I don't know anything about muscle relaxers, but I just wanted to be like, give me something that will make me feel amazing all weekend, you know? Like I have nothing to do except lay here in pain." So and I was like, I said I don't know much about him, and he goes, "I'm going to give you this one. It's pretty mild."
What did he give you?
Damn it.
What did he give you?
I don't know what it was called.
Okay.
It was just something. I mean, it didn't even seem like it did anything.
Oh shit!
But I'm better, so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
I years ago I had back spasms, and they gave me muscle relaxers.
Oh, okay.
It was they gave me a thing called Flexerol.
Oh.
And that made me. See, I never smoked weed at that time.
Yeah.
Much less did.
You were
pharmaceutical.
You grew up. You like didn't drink or anything.
No,
right?
I didn't.
Yeah.
I didn't drink until I was like 28. So I went from nothing to here's some crazy pharmaceuticals.
Yeah,
and it made me loopy, and I didn't like it.
Bet.
Yeah. So I stopped taking them.
So you never heard of the Cart Narc?
No.
Okay, Cart Narc is a guy on Reddit. I guess he's probably in other places too, but
okay.
I watch him on Reddit, and he's this guy who goes into like grocery store parking lots, and he will go up to people who don't put their cart back in the cart return thing.
Yeah.
And he just basically he harasses them, and he calls them lazy bones, and he just asks them why they're not returning the cart. Like, why aren't you bringing this cart back? You know where that's go. Someone has to do this now. Like someone has to get, and he basically just embarrasses people. And people when they get embarrassed, they get flustered and they don't know how to react. So they usually immediately go to anger.
Oh yeah.
And so it's a very interesting thing because it's such a mundane, menial situation, but it's still embarrassing to be too lazy to return a cart.
Yeah.
But to be called out on it because it's like someone will collect it. It's not the biggest deal, but it's still the right thing to do.
Yeah.
But for someone to confront you on it, people will just, it's embarrassing. And you see it, and he has a little magnets, and it says lazy bones.
Oh my God.
And he goes, I'm going to just put this magnet on your car so people know you're a lazy bones because you don't like to return carts. And people flip out when
I can imagine
when he puts it on the cart, and they get out and they'll rip it off, and it's a magnet, so he'll just throw it. He has a bunch, he'll throw them, it'll stick to the car, and people just lose their minds. And it's just gold to watch. And he has sort of a high-pitched voice, but I read somewhere in the comments that he's like a bigger dude. So, because I always wonder how he could get away with this, and how he doesn't get the shit kicked out of him.
Oh,
because if you watch it, I love him. I think he's great.
Yeah.
But I'm like, this dude is gonna get shot.
Yeah. I don't think he's done an episode in Florida yet.
I don't know where he did, but it's so funny. You gotta watch it.
You're late. Just there's a bullet hole through his magnet.
Yeah. Through the O in bones.
I think I actually, come to think about it, I think I have seen it, but I never saw it on Reddit or anything. I think it was just a clip that got viral, passed around type of thing.
Yeah.
Is he redheaded?
He doesn't. He does like first person point of view with a camera.
Gotcha. Yeah. But his voice is like,
which is also funny because he just sticks like a camera in people's face, and he's like, "You're a lazy bones."
That's. I mean, the thing is, like, I've thought about that, like at grocery, because I always return my carts.
Yeah,
I don't need a social media sensation to remind me.
I've done both, but since that, I really I try to every time, but then when I hurt my back and I could barely walk.
Yeah, because that's another thing I was thinking about. Like, who does he come across where it's like, dude, and he points to his like missing leg.
Yeah.
He's like, you're late.
He tips his like Vietnam veteran hat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
My buddies never came back. The least I could do is leave this fucking cart in honor of John. I
don't know if you ever worked at a grocery store, but collecting carts is an awful job. I've done that before when I was young.
Yeah, I never worked at a grocery store, but I did work at a Walgreens, and it is terrible, especially when you're like when you work at the grocery store. There's someone whose sole job is to collect carts.
Yeah,
but I worked at a Walgreens, so I had to run the photo lab, and then also one of my duties was to collect carts. And I mean, so it wasn't as prevalent as like a grocery store, but it still sucks, especially in the summer.
Especially here, Florida,
God,
man.
Yeah,
it's not a fun job, so I understand. But how have you been?
I've been good.
Is your back not injured?
No, my back's not injured. I did get real sore the other day.
Yeah.
Turning in a corner in age is not fun, especially when you're like, in your case it was rotisserie chicken. Mine was a drunk hookup.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was it was fun.
You blew your back out?
No, I didn't blow my back out, but my legs were sore because of the precarious position that we were trying to arrange things in. Yeah.
Was it like a standing?
Yeah,
standing
it was. Yeah, it was. I'm trying to navigate around this without giving too much information, but it was a situation where there was another person in another room, so we were relegated to doing it on a couch, and the couch was there was too much give.
Yeah,
it's too much give, and
like a waterbed.
Yeah, and it was trying to stabilize, and it had been what, 6 months for me since the last time I rumbled in the sheets,
Yeah.
And so, like my ego and mind are like, yeah, you know what to do. And then my body's like, oh, couture, my friend, Yeah. And so,
your body's French.
Oh yeah. Oh, you cannot have sex all night. It was like,
I legitimately met that guy in Italy.
Oh, you did?
Now the stereotype of a French guy.
Yeah.
Like, oh, what you doing now, man? Yeah. And like they move around a lot. Like I said to Kelly, this guy is like, he's drawn in squiggle vision, because he was just like, and he had a cigarette and he talked like that, and I was like, this dude's like a cartoon. He was like Pepe Le Pew. was amazing.
Yeah, if they try to do like a police rendering of them, it would just be like, in cartoons when they have like sound waves.
Yeah.
It would just be that. It would just be that with a cigar, with a cigarette.
Yeah, with the thin little French smoke art. Like
Oh, he
posters.
had those type of like cigarettes.
He didn't have thin one. He had
okay.
regular cigarettes, but he just spoke and acted like a French cartoon. He was very like. I liked him. He was a complete asshole and very pretentious, but like, I was like, this is what I thought French people were like.
Yeah.
And they actually are. Yeah. At least he was. I'm sure there's great French people.
You also have.
I admit, I saw a lot in the airport, and they all look gray. Kind of. They have like a gray look to them, which is something New Yorkers possess. There's like a grayness to New Yorkers, but I saw a lot of French people, and there's just like gray. So there's something on that.
You sound like what I would describe someone who has color blindness would describe.
That's what Kelly says. I'm colorblind all the time. She always is like, we got to check your color blindness. I can see colors. Fucking colors in here.
Yeah.
But anyway, French people.
Yeah. That's
So your body. So you were on a couch and you.
Yeah, it wasn't planned. I mean,
drunk hookup. You said you were drunk too.
I was tipsy. I wasn't as drunk as she was.
Yeah.
But I was drunk enough to where it didn't feel like it was a problem.
Right.
And I reconnected with her just to make sure, like, hey, she didn't remember a lot of it.
Patrice O'Neill, I didn't rape you text. You know that?
Oh, I don't think I heard that bit.
Oh, you never heard that?
No.
He does like a whole bit about getting a text the next morning, like, I had a really great time last night. And he's like, there it is. There it is. Just like a receipt.
Yeah. No, honestly, that's what happened. And then I hung out with her fairly recently. So, like, I just wanted, she didn't remember a lot of it. And that made me feel not good.
Yeah.
Not even from a sense of pride, but just like it felt weird because I was like, I remembered all of it. You know what I mean? And
yeah.
Yeah. So
that's tough. It is a dirty.
It made me feel dirty. Yeah.
But that would, I don't know. That used to just be like, all like part, like sometimes you would be drunker than she and you wouldn't, you get blackout, and then it's like it's all part of the whole experience.
But the more recent time that we hung out, she was like, well, don't feel bad, like, I invited you up, and even when I'm drunk, I'm very aware at that moment of what I'm doing. I'm like, well, it doesn't sound like you don't remember the fucking thing that happened.
It's so dangerous.
Yeah.
It sounds like a trap.
Yeah, no, she was, but I think it was her way of trying to reassure me, like, hey, you didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't feel weird about it. Like, basically, that's what she said. She's like, I don't feel weird about it. We hooked up, and you're a cool dude. It's just, and then she was like, kind of like floating around, like I'm in a weird place right now, and in my mind I'm like, this is the perfect scenario. I just hooked up with you, and you tell me you don't want a relationship. This is essentially, I'm like, okay, all right.
Oh God, yeah, that is nice.
No, she was cool people, but yeah, I was just sore for a couple of days, and then I was like, oh my God, man, Jesus, I need to go to gym just to fuck better. Like, this is insane.
Yeah, you got to do. I had a buddy who he's like a crazy like outdoor adventurer type.
Yeah.
And he does river rafting in the Grand Canyon. Jeez. Talk about like a sexy job. He's a really handsome dude too.
Yeah.
And so he was a rock climber for a long time.
Oh my God.
And let me take you out climbing, girls just love it. And he told me one time that there's muscles in your body that you use for rock climbing that you only use for rock climbing and sex.
Yeah.
Is that such a hot guy thing to say?
Yeah. I mean, I
was laughing. I was like, man, all right.
I mean, I had another ex who she reconnected with an ex-boyfriend, and he was a rock climber.
Oh God, yeah. So. Yeah, they have like strong hips or something.
Yeah.
They need like hip whatever, or I don't know.
Yeah, their hip flexors.
Yeah.
But also they're built a certain way. I couldn't be a rock climber. They always say like, yeah,
You could be the Rock.
I would be the boulder in which
Yeah.
her boyfriend would just fucking climb over me.
Yeah.
No, and also like I don't know if you've ever seen rock climbers. They're not built thick.
No,
You know,
yeah,
they're not
very,
built
like,
thick, like,
lanky. And
They're lanky.
lean.
Yeah, they're built like chimpanzees essentially.
Mhm. Yeah.
Muscular chimpanzees. So
Yeah, that's not us here.
no, we,
The sweatiest comics in Jacksonville.
yeah, yeah, the perspiration boys.
Yeah.
We should do a show poster, do like a little mini run as like the boys of summer, and it's just us just dying, sweating.
Yeah,
have to
that'd
do like
be
a
funny.
Bikram yoga class or
Yeah.
something like that. But I've been doing a lot of interesting shows. I've been doing I'm going to do a drag show soon again.
Where you dress up too?
Yeah, I'm going to do another drag show. I did an improv show. I judged a air guitar competition, and it was
That's cool.
You know the weird thing was it was the only time I ever been a part of well, I wouldn't say the only time, but it was one of the few times I've ever been a part of a competition of any sort where I felt the actual deserving winner won.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and the party was like, yeah, because I was the judge. That's why, you know.
Like, I made things right.
Yeah, well, because it was supposed to be a bunch of pre-registers, but no one pre-registered. So we were on a casino boat, which is
so people could just show up and sign up?
Yeah, well, you had to pay a fee to do it
yeah,
because it was the money was for charity. If you had $20 or whatever the registration fee was, you just sign up, and a winner got $150, a guitar, a fucking actual guitar. I didn't know that until the winner won.
That's awesome.
And then also that you got sent to nationals in Denver, Colorado, and they paid for your flight.
What?
Yeah, I was like, if I'd have known that, I'd have fucking entered myself.
I would have fucking thrown myself on that.
Yeah.
Denver's so fun.
Yeah. And so because knowing that there was I didn't know about the guitar thing, but I knew about the Denver thing, and I knew about the $150 cash prize. I was like, I'm not just gonna unless someone wants to bribe me, I'm not gonna just vote it any which way.
Yeah.
So I wwent from being what I thought was gonna be the nice judge to being like I was the Simon Cowell, that motherfucker. Dude, it was so funny because there was just a bunch of people.
Absolute rubbish.
Yeah. It was absolutely dreadful. I wish that I could create a gun to shoot my brains out.
I hated it. I would commit suicide by Harry Carey. I would disembowel myself.
Yeah. It would be my real
performance.
guts. My real guts would be on a dance floor because of your fake guitar playing abilities.
I would rather touch aluminium to my filling.
Aluminium.
I hate the way what's aluminum? They say aluminium, and processes. They say processes.
Yeah.
Processes.
This is the second.
I don't like that. Those two words.
This is the second conversation that today I've had about being annoyed by British people and how they say shit. Today,
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, they're right because they came first, so I know. Not that they're right, but aluminium is annoying, right?
They're
hitting
too much.
too many things.
That's
on
too
it.
much. That sounds very a pretentious way of saying that.
Aluminum.
Yeah. Aluminium. Yeah.
Aluminium.
Ironically, the hookup girl, she was telling me about a time that she went to the beach and it was like all these British sailors.
Oh.
It was like because every once in a while, Fleet Week they call it.
Fleet Week.
Yeah, and then they have a bunch of British sailors will show up at Mayport and they'll come and visit the beaches and go in town and stuff. So she's at the beach with her girlfriends, and her girlfriends are losing their fucking mind because it's like a bunch of hot built British guys.
Yeah.
So it's like, oh my accents, and they're like six packs.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know what the fuck that was, but yeah. But they're like good eye, whatever. And the friends are like just moist. They're just like fucking sliding out of their bathing suits, and she is like, this is the grossest thing. I hate how they sound.
Yeah.
They sound like they're chewing on cold peanut butter, and I hate it. And I'm like, Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah.
You just wave an American flag.
Yeah. I told her, I was like, that's the most American shit you just said, you know?
Yeah.
I fucking hate these. Fuck you and your queen, she said. It's like, goddamn. Yeah.
I met nice British people in Italy. They were pretty cool.
Oh, I mean, my thing is like, every British person I've ever encountered has been really cordial and nice and sweet. But it was just finally a woman that's not impressed by the fucking accent.
Yeah, that is nice. That is that you're a keeper.
Yeah, I'm glad I got to put my penis in you.
We had so many like fairly negative sentiment, like negative American sentiment experiences over there.
Really?
Yeah, it's just inevitably like you always hear about it in Europe. And they're like, oh, Americans. But on the way to the airport, leaving Rome, like on the way to the Rome airport, our driver was our age. He was like 42. He was just a little bit older than me. And he was like, he loved American culture, and he'd been to America because his mom worked for an airline, so they got cheap flights. So he said, he was like, I went to Orlando, but he's Italian, so he's like saying it with a thick accent.
I went to
Orlando, and he's telling us how he went to the 4D Muppets show, or the 4D show.
Yeah.
And he's describing the mice tickling your feet and the bubbles and like all that stuff, and it's like a vivid childhood memory for both Kelly and I. So it was such a cool thing to hear someone from the other side of the world who went to like that ride or that show, which was like, for the time, do you remember how like revolutionary that felt?
Yeah, Muppet Vision
or whatever. Yeah. So he was describing like all the things that happen in Muppet Vision, and we were sitting there like, America.
I love it too, because it's one of the older attractions now at that particular theme park.
Oh yeah,
because they got rid of a lot. They got rid of a lot of the older attractions.
I didn't know. I haven't been back in so long.
Yeah, no, it's been a minute for me, but even then, like, because I remember one of my favorite things was they had this playground, and it was like Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Oh yeah, dude!
The Honey, I Shrunk
remember
the Kids.
that.
I was like, oh,
they had the auntie.
My God, yeah. And that was that was like my favorite thing, you know.
God, that was a cool movie.
Oh my God, I love that movie.
What a great concept.
I love that movie. I didn't really like the sequel too much.
Honey, I Blew Up the Kids.
Honey, I Blew Up the Baby,
or whatever.
And then
whatever happened to Rick Moranis? Besides, he got punched in the face in New York, I think.
Well, his wife died. And
oh, really?
His wife died, and he took a break from Hollywood to basically be a dad.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, and then
good for him.
There was talk about him popping back in, but at this point, I think he's
probably just
like
chills.
Yeah. I mean, he was in. I mean, like his credentials are fucking legendary. Man.
Oh yeah, no, I mean
he's amazing. Whoever his agent is fucking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He was so great in Ghostbusters, and then I love My Blue Heaven. You watch that ever?
No.
My Blue Heaven with Steve Martin.
No,
and
I've
Rick
never seen that one.
So it's it's sort of like I didn't know this at the time, but I read somewhere that it's a satirical sequel to Goodfellas, which is an unofficial satirical sequel of Goodfellas.
Okay.
So it's about Steve Martin, who's a mafia guy, and he's going into the witness protection program, and Rick Moranis is the FBI guy assigned to watch him.
Yeah.
And he's getting reassigned from New York to San Diego, but it's like suburban San Diego. It's real boring and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's all about Rick Moranis trying to watch Steve Martin, and Steve Martin being bored out there and dealing with like suburban life, and then like reconnecting with mobsters out there and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
But it's very funny. He's like, because Rick Moranis is a straight man in it, and he's like he's so good. He's so funny.
I never even heard of this movie.
Really?
No.
My Blue Heaven.
Obviously, it came out in the early '90s. If it's like a satirical, because Goodfellas came out in '90 or '91.
Right. Yeah. It was probably like '92.
Damn. Okay.
You got to watch it. It's a great movie to watch with a girl because it's funny, and it's like it's got, I forget it's a famous comedic actress too, and she has red hair. She was in tons of 80s, 90s movies. I hate myself for forgetting the name, but
I'm the same way sometimes.
but the cast has tons of people, and it's such a funny movie.
Shit. Okay. I wonder if I've seen it and maybe I just forgot about it. Because that happens.
Maybe
That happens like what will happen is I'll see like a scene or a couple scenes from a movie, never finish it, and then I just forget about it, and then I'll watch that movie again. And I'm like, oh fuck, that's that scene.
Yeah.
That happens a lot, man.
It's so good. But it is sort of like no one ever mentions it. No one ever talks about it.
Yeah, I know. That's probably what threw me off. Is like I never, other than this time, I never heard it mentioned in any conversation.
Yeah.
Especially with Rick Moranis, because usually it's like Ghostbusters, Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh yeah. And Steve Martin.
Oh, and then Spaceballs.
Yeah. Oh God, it's so good.
Yeah. So
I'm surrounded by assholes. Oh God, it's so funny.
Do you ever hear about Mike Lawrence's experience with Spaceballs and Star Wars?
Mike Lawrence, the comedian?
Yeah, Mike Lawrence, the comedian. So
no.
So he headlined the Comedy Zone a couple years ago.
He was very, very funny.
Yeah, this is before the roast battle stuff. He was like, he put out a special called Sadamantium.
Okay.
Which is like the cover is like him as Sad Wolverine.
Oh, that's funny.
And because he's a big comic book guy, and he came through, and he didn't particularly sell well because it was like this market's not really good for avant-garde nerd comedy.
Yeah, yeah.
But we all hung out with him the whole weekend, and he does a bit about it. But he was telling us it's legit. He watched Spaceballs before he watched Star Wars, and so Star Wars, because I think we were talking about the Guardians of the Galaxy episode. And
no, I think you told me that he has this bit.
Yeah.
But go on.
But he was,
I relate to this so heavily.
But he was saying he's like I watched Spaceballs and it's funny and it's entertaining, but I didn't know the back, like what is it based off of? And then they were like, you got to watch Star Wars, and then he watched Star Wars and he couldn't get into it as much because it wasn't as funny. It was he was like, he has a bit. He goes, Star Wars is just unfunny Spaceballs. So it's just, yeah,
it's so true.
It's insane to think that like there's people who will watch them, like if you watch Scary Movie or if you watch like,
and then you watch Scream
or Airplane,
after,
because Airplane was another like parody, supposed to be another parody
Mission
thing.
Control or whatever,
or
whatever the
and so just watching the parody and then seeing the real movie it's based off, you're like, oh, this sucks, and you're like, this is critically acclaimed.
So I have a very similar experience, except I was like steeped in comedy, and I watched Spaceballs and then the SNL Star Wars screen test when they do like Richard Dreyfuss as
I gotta give it up to SNL. SNL always does really good. Anything Star Wars, anything parody.
Do you remember that one? There was like Christopher Walken screen test.
No, I don't remember that particular one.
Oh, dude, God
damn, I gotta
SNL screen test, Star Wars screen test. So I never watched Star Wars growing up. I was never into like that kind of stuff. Yeah. And then I watched all those comedies, and then I got into film, and I was like, Star Wars is so important in film and pop culture and stuff. But again, I'm like, I don't like it. But several times in my life, I made myself sit down and try to watch Star Wars.
Yeah.
And it's just playing, and I'm like, all right, here we go. And every single line has been parodied or done in a thing, and I hear it and I laugh, and I can't watch it and take it seriously because I'm just like, oh, it just reminds me of all the jokes.
Yeah.
And
we'd have to give you a lobotomy and then watch
I know. But even like I don't know. I can't get into a lot of that stuff. I try to. I really would love. I wish I had the like comic books or like graphic novels. Graphic novels seem cool. People tell me about they'll tell me the story of what a graphic novel is about, and I'm like, that sounds awesome. Yeah. And I'll take it, and I'll open it up, and I look at it, and I'm like, oh, I would never read this, ever.
Yeah.
But I'll read, like, a cooking book. I'll read a cookbook.
Well,
It's
is it
such a
maybe
nerd.
maybe it's because maybe I don't know. Maybe this is how your brain works when it comes to that. Okay, for example, for me, when it comes to sports, when it comes to
Yeah.
watching sports, when I was in a more able-bodied shape, I could not get into any sport that I could not feasibly maybe be a professional at.
Oh yeah, you could see yourself doing
Yeah, so I didn't get I
relatable.
could not get into the NBA because I'm like I'll never be a 6'11", in forward or whatever.
Oh
You
okay.
know, like I could feasibly maybe circumstances, it would have to be perfect, but I could possibly walk on a football team.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, and play a position. I mean, at the best, at the least, I could be a long snapper. You know what I mean? I could feasibly wrestle. I could feasibly,
Yeah.
maybe play shortstop,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
maybe play, or be a designated hitter. Like, but but baseball was too boring to me. But like the sports I really got into were the ones that I felt I feasibly, at me at my prime in my body could be a professional at, and basketball wasn't one. Not even baseball, really. You know, and so like I don't know if that's how you operate, where it's like that you could cook, so you could get into cookbooks, and like this whole fantasy of space thing, like that's not necessarily an interest of yours, so you're just like, I can't get into it.
Yeah, I don't know, but it's like a try, you know. I
Yeah.
do try Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
A lot of stuff. I know it's good and everything, and I can't get into it, um, but I watch like Martin Lawrence movies, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
I'll watch Blue Streak. I'll take Blue Streak over the Lord of the Rings trilogy.
Yeah.
You know, any
Well,
day.
I mean, you can watch Blue Streak twice in one time it takes to watch just the first movie.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. What else? We got plans coming up?
yeah, I got some travel shows. I'm doing a sketch festival, which is interesting. Because I want to get back into writing again.
Yeah.
Because like we both have very similar background as far as like being in film, wanting to do film.
Yeah.
I think I've told you this story before, but like I got into stand up essentially because in my mind my filmmaking days were done because of internet porn.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I had so the abridged version of this story is I had years of short films, everything from action to horror to everything in between, and I wrote, produced, direct, acted. I did stunts. I did makeup effects, gore type of stuff for all these things. 2.5 years of it, and I got into LimeWire downloads of music and porn.
Yeah.
And I got a virus on my computer, and it corrupted my files. And I took it to Circuit City's version of Geek Squad back in the day, and they were like, "This is not only corrupted your computer, but it's corrupted every external source that you have."
Oh
so
my God.
we like
hard drives?
all your hard drives, all your SD cards, all your flash drive, it's transferred to that. So basically, any file that you have that's on there is already corrupted.
Was it a Trojan horse?
Yeah,
Do you remember that?
yes, it might have been.
You're a certain age, you feared a Trojan horse.
Yeah, and
Both if you're like if you're like around 40,
Yeah.
or if you're 370, whatever,
Yeah.
when the real regular, the
400
first Trojan
if you're
horse was.
475 or
If you're
or,
2,486 years old.
I think that's what it was. I think that's what it was.
Thousands?
I definitely had a Trojan horse on my computer before I took it in.
Yeah.
Because it was one of those things where like you go click something and then next thing it starts to open up windows.
Yeah, pop up.
Oh my god,
it's,
that was the
terrible.
first time I remember doing that. Man, it was bad. It was bad. I was a horny boy because I at one point anytime I touched the computer, porn was gonna pop up somehow.
Yeah.
And then I always went to the worst sites ever because it was always be like, all right, Marcus. What were you looking at? And I was like, nothing. I was studying for my project that this dude Friday.
Isn't it funny? Like you knew nothing about like browser history or anything back then. You
Yeah.
know, like I would look at porn sites all the time, and then
Yeah,
I never deleted any kind of history or anything.
yeah.
Or,
Well, then
you
that's
know.
that's that my porn addiction started me to basically, I was doing that. I was covering up tracks like I was fucking Watergate at one point. I was like, no one's gonna find this information, you know. And then I'd fuck up and like, yeah, and this is before they had streaming sites for porn. So like, if there was a clip you liked, you had to find a site that had like offered free 30-second download. And I had a file folder on the computer, and I think this is where it got corrupted. Was I had a file folder of like a bunch of free downloaded clips.
Oh,
it was
yeah.
a whole
So you're just
file.
clicking through them?
I mean, I shit, you know, at one point it was like half a gig.
Oh, wow.
And this was in early 2000s, so that's a lot.
It cost like $900.
It was slowing the computer down, dude. Slowing the computer down. It's like, man, the computer's so slow. I'm like, I don't know why.
Oh, God.
I was like, well, I got to delete all this.
Do you remember when all that download, like when Napster first came out and then, you know, LimeWire eventually, but like you would download one track, one song, and it would take like 3-4 hours.
Jesus.
And you would just be like, dude, this is incredible. Any song you want, and in 4 hours I could listen to it. It's so funny.
Well, because before that, the only way to access music was you had to
buying
go
CDs.
Yeah, you had to go, but like I didn't have a driver's license, so I had to wait till my parents are cool, and I had to wait till I had money.
Yeah.
All these factors, so that could be from 1 day to 1 week to 1 month.
Right.
And it's like 4 hours. That's not nothing, man.
God, I used to go to the local music store. I think you said you had one too, right? You had a good local music store?
Yeah.
We had that.
We had a couple. I had a couple.
Miss going to that. That was such a cool thing. Music, like buying CDs was such a fun experience, like looking through all the stuff and then having a tangible CD or tape. Like I bought tapes even earlier, but CDs mostly.
Yeah, that was okay. So that's
good.
That's another thing I miss. I really miss. It was two things. It was going to the music store, especially like the chain, like a Sam Goody or FYE or something like that.
Yeah,
and they had like each genre, and then you go down a row, and then there's like this little stand, and it has 5 CDs that just got released that week or month or whatever, and then you can go and press like this button, and next thing you know, it starts playing that CD, and you can listen to the CD. They had the headphones attached to it. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah,
they had the head. So you're like, oh, cool, Korn came out, and you're like, all right,
are you ready?
You're just jamming out the Korn in the middle of fucking FYE, and then the other thing I miss is going to like Walmart or any place that had games, video games, you know. And they had this setup where they had the game system, and you had the 2 controllers, and you could play, you know, Mario Party or whatever.
Yeah, they had like a living room set up, like right in the middle of the store.
Yeah, and you could just or in Walmart's case, they just had like a TV with the 2 controllers, and you could just play it. And my mom would go grocery shopping or whatever, and me and my brother would be in the game section playing Nintendo 64 or something like that.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And they don't have that anything anymore for much of anything really, because everything's online. Everything's online.
Yeah. Digital garbage. Do you remember whatchamacallit? I lost the rabbit.
You lost it.
I had it.
Hell, even porn shops had that. They had a little back room you could view DVDs.
Yeah, just view it.
Yeah, but no one ever really just viewed it. It was like, hey, I'm back here in this room watching this porn, got a boner, like, yeah.
I like the funniest like porn shop I ever went to. I went on spring break, or not spring break. It was fall break in college. And one of my best friends in college was from Kentucky. We called him Kentucky. And we went there for a break. It was like 3 or 4 days. And on the way back, we stopped at a porn store in West Virginia called the Lion's Den.
That's a chain.
Oh, is it a chain?
It's a chain now.
Oh, okay.
That's a fucking chain. Yeah.
Hell yeah, they're doing well.
Yeah. People love our porno.
I contributed to their growth. So we were like driving along in West Virginia, and it's just like it's very desolate or whatever. and it was just on a standalone porn store at Lions Den. So we're like, let's go in there. We both had girlfriends at the time, but they were back at the college.
Yeah.
And so we're in there looking around, and we're like, let's buy porn for the girls. As a joke. And
okay.
And so I forget what he bought, but I bought midget porn, and it was called like Midget Mania 2 or something like that. It was like and then I bought my girlfriend that Midget Mania 2 and a big bottle of lube. But it wasn't like Astroglide. It was like off-brand, like gross sounding, like pump, like it's like the big like hand sanitizer. Got like the big, and so I was like, here you go, midget porn and lube, and we were all hanging out and drinking, and we put the midget porn on. I don't even know is that an offensive word at this point. I mean, the title of the video is Midget Mania, so I assume.
No,
we're just keeping it all
technically dwarf.
Dwarf.
Like, there's so many things that are like antiquated terms.
Isn't
now.
dwarf and midget separate?
No,
they're the same.
Dwarf. The preferred term I think is little people.
Little people. Little people mania. It doesn't have the same ring.
No, it doesn't. Yeah, dude. I don't know, man. I don't know why, but for me, midget sounds more badass.
It does.
Little people makes it just sounds like
it sounds like you're a little person.
Yeah. I don't know, man.
Midget sounds like you're gonna get punched. In the face.
I don't know. Midget
Which I did. I got punched in the face by a midget before. But
what? You're gonna just glaze over
just to put a period on the midget porn thing. My favorite scene, because I still think about it from time to time.
Yeah.
In the movie, there is because all the scenes there would be a little person and a big person, and they'd have sex. But it would be a little woman and then a regular sized guy, and then the next scene would be a little guy and a regular sized
Okay.
It bounced around.
All right, diversity.
And so one scene, it was a little person woman.
Yeah.
And she is like seducing a regular sized guy, and they're in a bedroom, and she climbs on the bed, and the guy's standing on like off to the side, and for some reason the bed is covered in heads of cabbage, green cabbage.
What the fuck?
And she holds up like cabbage to her tits. She's naked and she holds them up to her tits, and she goes, "My body is hot, H-O-T." And she rubs cabbage on her tits.
What the fuck?
That's a real scene. We gotta look it up. I would just put it in the podcast.
Oh my god.
But yeah, I got punched in the face by a little person.
What'd you do?
That was in high school when I played football.
Yeah.
And we had a trainer who was a little person.
Okay.
And everyone called him Freddie the Midget because his name was Freddie. And he was Puerto Rican, and he was hilarious. He was like, he would make fun of us, but he was like help out with the football team.
Okay.
And they just said he was a trainer, but he would just hang out and help out the coaches. And
yeah, he probably wanted to play, but he was a dwarf.
Yeah. He like wanted to be involved, He was like in his, I don't know, he's old. He was like in his 40s or whatever, but like but anyway, but he would like sort of get in his head
special teams.
He would think of him.
Oh, it's fucked up.
Oh, that's the name of the episode. Special teams.
Special teams.
Oh, that's good.
God damn it.
Oh.
But he would what?
He would like think of himself as a coach, so we would try to boss you around every once in a while.
No.
So, and people were like, real, they'd be like, disrespectful to him. But he would try to corral everyone. So one time he was getting everyone, get in the meeting room, we're going to start. He's yelling at everyone. And I was joking around with my friend, and we were talking and laughing. And he says to us, he was like, "You two, get in the room." He like yelled at us, and I looked at him. I don't think less of me. I said, "Shut up, you stupid short fuck." And and he 10 feet away, full speed runs at me and jumps like Super Mario hitting a coin.
Bring, bring.
Bling. He's jumped and like punched me in the face.
Holy shit.
And which is funny because thinking back, I probably could have like sued the school and stuff.
Yeah.
But I didn't, I didn't think of it. And because it didn't hurt because you know what you know about fighting.
Yeah.
I know about this much. Punching, you need like a base to make it powerful, right? Like the power comes from your legs, a lot of it.
Yeah.
So he jumped, so he hit me in the air, so it felt like boop, like someone was like, "Good job, good job, Tiger."
I mean, especially. I mean, I don't know, man. It because of the way he's built, it probably didn't generate enough.
Yeah, he couldn't jump very high.
Energy.
Yeah,
to that's so funny, dude.
It's awful. I feel bad.
I mean, he could have played the backfield. You know, they got fullback, but they also have halfbacks. God damn it.
Oh man.
Yeah.
So yeah, he did that, and I started laughing.
Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, fuck this," and he went into the room, and I guess he had his box of like just training box, his medical box, you know, and he got a pair of scissors out of it, but it was like the safety scissors that you cut athletic tape with, so it's like a nub on the end. And so he came out with scissors.
He came out with like, fiskars?
It would be like coming out with a butter knife, being like, "I'm gonna kill you." So we were all laughing so hard, dude. It was bad. It was ugly.
Oh my god!
It's not a proud day, but it happened. And it's just I remember laughing. And
that's probably why you didn't think to sue him, because like now you have to be like, "Well, I sued him because I was tagged by a dwarf." And like,
I just remember thinking like, this is a fact I could say from now on, that like I got punched in the face by this guy. It was fun.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
I going back to the porn shop stuff.
Porn.
You mentioned the lube thing, and I was thinking about this. I didn't know that certain types of lube are not good for certain types of toys.
Oh yeah, like certain because there's a water based and then silicone based.
Yeah,
right.
I learned the hard way when I bought a generic fleshlight.
Oh,
and I used silicone lube.
What happened?
It burned through it like fucking alien blood.
Really?
Yeah, it melted.
Like Predator?
It melted it down, dude.
Wow.
It melted it down. I was like, what the fuck? It was just like, it just turned into this weird.
Just sort of.
It's just, it was just like it went from like this one had a plastic casing, and then the silicone rubbery stuff or whatever.
Yeah.
And then they had the little hole or whatever. And then I was like, all right, put a little bit of lube. And then it's so
it just goes.
It's just like you ever spit on cotton candy?
Yeah.
It started doing that. I was like, no, and it's not refundable. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
And even the generic one was like kind of expensive. So I was like, oh man. So I was like, this is a low point in my life. I'm trying to fuck a fucking deformed pocket pussy.
It's like the vagina's aging. You're like 18, 26, 40.
I'm fucking Benjamin Button.
Yeah. God, that's funny. I didn't know it went to that extreme. I know
basically oh god, it was
man.
weird.
I wonder if you should write to the company and ask for another one.
This was years ago.
Or get different lube. That seems dangerous.
Oh yeah, it was.
Get a nice water-based Astroglide or like a Astroglide was invented by a NASA scientist, and he was trying to come up with some sort of like space whatever.
Yeah.
And he came up with Astroglide, and it's the closest formulation to like the human like body fluid. So like pre-cum or like vagina.
Vaginal
vagina happiness.
They've now created other ones now that are more closely resembled it.
Oh really?
Yeah. Because the stuff I bought for that fleshlight was like Swedish. It was like this Swedish silicone based thing.
Oh really?
Yeah. And
like fancy.
They
knew what they're doing over there.
Well, I had bought like a sample bottle of it. Like, I liked the way it felt, and was like, oh, cool. This is cool.
I like the way it felt.
Yeah.
I like. I heard a thing about. Well, it wasn't Sweden. It was Norway. That they have like the. They did like a thing of like the biggest boobs in the women with the biggest boobs in the world by country.
Yeah.
And Norway had like the biggest boobs but the lowest body mass index or something like that. They were like the only ones with like, because bigger body mass, they were like bigger boobs.
Yeah, yeah.
Because but they were the only country with like a healthy body mass index but huge tits.
Oh, that's wild.
And I was like, that sounds like a good country I want to go visit. Let's go do a show in Norway.
I wonder if there's like a lot of Norwegian porn stars. And
I don't know.
That sounds like the perfect porn star.
I heard it on a podcast.
Aesthetically pleasing, you know?
Yeah. Well, everyone says that people over in like Sweden and Norway, like you go to like a McDonald's over there, and it'll just be like a woman cashier at McDonald's, and she looks like a model over here. You know, like they look like, and you're like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing at McDonald's? And
I have
like,
to serve the McShakes.
Alvitasen or whatever, you know.
You want these McNuggets or nuts? You want the McNuggets? You want the barbecue sauce?
It looks, yeah. I was like, man, Norway, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's good. Hiatus.
Yeah, back from a hiatus. We got
back in the swing.
Yeah.
You got any shows come up you want to plug?
Doing a show in Orlando Monday, this upcoming Monday.
Or I guess we could just plug like how to find us.
Oh, actually, I don't know if we could do this on air, but I gotta check if you're free July 20th.
Oh yeah,
I got a show in like near Daytona.
Oh cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I am free.
Okay, sweet.
I'm gonna go to Connecticut next week, and then I'm going to Fort Lauderdale the week after that. But I'll be back on like the 14th.
Okay.
So like I think I'll be home for a week.
Work stuff?
I'm going to visit my grandmother in New Haven, Connecticut.
Oh, okay.
She's 97.
Wow.
And I do a joke about her, and it makes me feel bad about it, but it's a good joke, so I keep it because it works. And but I'm going to visit her and hopefully eat New Haven pizza, and then Fort Lauderdale for work. Yeah, and we're staying in the dorm. Like, well, yeah. Never mind.
Yeah. I think you were telling me about this a while back. Look, Fort Lauderdale, I was just there doing a show.
Oh, cool.
At a nice pizza place called Blue Steel Pizza.
Oh yeah,
was it good? Yeah, the pizza is like it's like fancy Detroit style pizza.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, pizza was really good.
Oh yeah, Blue Steel, they're nice.
Yeah. But I don't know when I'm gonna be back down there again as far as like for shows.
Yeah,
and I used to be down there pretty often. I was dating that girl.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, but now it's that bitch ruined my life. No, I was kidding. No, that's not why.
Hell yeah.
But hell yeah.
Well, yeah, go follow Marcus at Marcus Crespo Besto
at Instagram. What is your Instagram? You have a Instagram?
Just at Dan Venti.
Oh, okay. And Foolosophy.
Yeah, and the podcast, Foolosophy. And then like and subscribe on this.
On our YouTube channel. Yeah, dude.
Well,
it's no fun to be dumb.
It's no fun to be dumb. But it is cool to be foolish.